Hello there, this is Jenny Li Ciccone. I am the host for the Tele-Summit, A Journey to Joyfulness. With this Tele-Summit, we will have 21 days with every expert on air for 30 to 45 minutes. They are all heart-centered, amazing people who got called to do what they do to help people and share with us their amazing personal journey and their experiences, knowledge, and wisdom for a joyful living. So today, I am very honored and excited to welcome our expert, Wendy Capland. Hi, Wendy, welcome.
Hi, Jenny.
Yeah, so glad to have you today. And Wendy, for some of you don't know her that much yet, let me introduce her background a bit to you. And I have to say, you know, she has so many accomplishments and projects in different areas she's working. So I have to, you know, shorten a bit, you know, especially her corporate side, because she also does she owns her own consulting firm as executive coach, help leaders incorporate in Fortune 500 companies, international companies. So with us, you know, with today's theme, you know, we introduce her background more related to us. Wendy Capland is an award-winning executive, a sought-after speaker, consultant, and expert in women's leadership. For over 20 years, Wendy Capland and her leadership firm inspires women to create their ideal vision for life and then boldly step into it, reinventing themselves to productively achieve more. Recently, Wendy just earned her place as Amazon's best-selling author for her book, Your Next Bold Move for Women: 9 Proven Steps to Everything You Ever Wanted. So the feedback from the woman reading her book or after their work with Wendy, you know, always like they feel completely engaged and rate her book and her work brilliant 5 stars. Wendy also conducts women's retreat every year. She provides a rare combination of professional and leadership development with personal transformation immersion experiences at her retreats to help women begin to see themselves as stronger and able to harness their personal power and put fears aside to take bold moves toward a fulfilling future. So Wendy lives in Massachusetts with her husband and her family. So her interview title today is Your Next Bold Move. Just like, you know, her book does. So now, Wendy, before we jump to the topic, can we ask you to share with us first your unique journey? What led you in your lifetime to the current place, to what you are doing, help people and living a joyful life?
Well, Jenny, I want to start by saying thank you so much for inviting me to be one of your guest experts. I'm honored and very excited to be talking with your audience today and sharing my story and hopefully inspiring others to take a next bold move in their life, which is very much in sync with your message of joyfulness. Right. I think for all of us, me included, everything that we've done in our lives is part of our journey, right? And so mine, like most, I would expect yours and other people listening and watching would be the same. It started when I was a child. And in my case, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. So my father and grandfather owned a leather tannery business in Massachusetts. And they made leather for belts and shoes and pocketbooks and vests out of cow hides. And so they had a manufacturing plant that had cow hides hanging on hooks and big smelly vats of chemicals to cure the hides. And I grew up as part of that system of business conversations. So at family dinners, I don't know what happened at other people's houses during holiday dinners, but at my house, the women were in one room talking about draperies and clothes, and I'm not actually sure because I wasn't there. And the men were in the den with their cigars or pipes in those days. My grandfather, my uncle, my dad, and I was usually hiding behind the couch so nobody would notice I was there and wouldn't kick me out, and was mesmerized by the conversations about business and how you manage employees and how you get people to offer their best and do their best work and feel good about themselves while they're doing it. And really, that was the beginning for me of being curious about what it takes to run a business, be joyful while you do it, manage all of the complicated pieces. And I had a defining moment, as many of us do. It was about 6, and it must have been a day off from school or something, because my dad took me to work with him, which was not common. And we were walking through the tannery, and it was a very scary place. Big men in tank tops with lots of tattoos, which is pretty common nowadays, but not so much then. And just really big, burly men and smelly and big, loud machines. And we were walking through the corridor, and I was holding my dad's hand, and he, as we were walking, people were passing him going the other way, and he would say, "Oh, Jim, how are you feeling this morning?" And Jim would say something, and then he would pass somebody else and say, "Sam, how's your wife feeling after her surgery yesterday?" And then he would pass somebody else, and everyone he passed, he said their name, and he made some personal comment. And even at 6 years old, it struck me. So I said to him, "Daddy, how do you know everybody, and how do you know everything about them?" And he said, "Honey, businesses don't run themselves. People run our businesses. It has nothing to do with your product or your service. It has to do with your people. And if you are good and kind to your people, they will be good and kind and do their best work in return." And so that really paved the way for me about combining the hardcore business stuff that I've learned over the years through my background and experience running my consulting firm and working with CEOs and senior leaders, developing themselves as leaders and growing their businesses and their results. And also what I would call the interpersonal, the emotional intelligence side, the personal side, the personal transformation side of bringing ourselves to work every day. So it's a long answer really to a simple question, but for me, even back then, I could see that there were 2 camps to learn to be an expert in. One, how to get results in business, and secondly, to focus on who you are as you do it. And so it's no surprise I've got 2 websites, right? So there's the Vision Quest Consulting website that's all about my business and my consulting firm, and then there's the personal website, wendycapland.com, that talks about my speaking and my book and my personal transformation work. So there you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's really, again and again, we heard all these different stories, but all goes back to the humanity. We are human. So, a lot of deep down stuff came out. Thank you for sharing that. The roots, motivated you there. Okay, so from your 20 years, working experience to help people, to bring their, best out of them, no matter leaders, women or men. I mean, can you just share with a little bit from your experience, observation, your opinion? What are the parts, blocking the people the most for bringing out their best, for the good, high productivity, or a good achievement?
I think for all of us, Jenny, we're all human, and we all have the same, I don't know, makeup in terms of how we interpret our place in the world, whether we feel good about ourselves or not, whether we feel successful on any given day. And the thing, after working all these years with high-level executives and managers, and what I realize is everybody is the same. I once walked into a CEO's office, and he said to me, I need a minute to finish this email. And so while I was waiting for him, I was standing up and looking out his beautiful executive office windows into the parking lot of the building. And I was struck by the thousands of cars in the parking lot. And I said to him, you're responsible for every one of those cars and the families that they represent. I said, that is a huge responsibility. And he said to me, that's what keeps me up at night, is how to do what I need to do and take care of them at the same time. And it's very challenging. So I think what holds us back is ourselves. I've heard a woman, her name is Rebecca Shambaugh, she's an author, and I can't remember the name of her book, but her concept is sticky floor. So she talks about it in terms of women, the expression glass ceiling, but her expression is the sticky floor. It's the stuff that holds us back, that feels like we're stuck. So I would say it's the inner conversations that we have. It's the confidence level that some days are good and some days not so great. Like, here's an example for me. Last week I had a really amazing, off-the-charts career week for me, one that I've been dreaming about my whole life. And so just to give you a little detail so you know what I'm talking about, I spoke at a industry conference for women in Boston called the Simmons Leadership Conference, along with Hillary Clinton and Denise Morrison, who's the CEO of Campbell's Soups, and Rita Moreno, who's an actress and a dancer, and me. And that was pretty amazing. And I did a workshop and had 200 plus people in it, and that was huge from a number, 200 is a lot of people in one room. And then the day after, I was on Fox News talking about the conference and women's leadership and so forth. It was a great week. And all that happened Monday through Thursday. Friday morning, I woke up and I thought, oh, well, all that's over. I wonder if I'll ever have anything like that again. I wonder if it's worth anything. I wonder if it's going to bring any business. Gosh, I don't even know what to do with myself today now that I'm not doing that. I mean, that is totally insane. People, including me, dream their whole lives for something that they get, and then they wonder whether they're enough on some level. So
Yeah, that's so true. I heard this also from other, authors, whatever, after their successful first book, second book, and then, the similar feeling, but yeah, it's so true that, things behind us who gets our way, a lot of times it's really ourselves. So it's just so true. So from your work, when you inspire people, how do you help, women or men, to realize this, to, move out from their own way, for productivity and achievement? Especially, I like to add something here, because, me, I went through my personal journey. I went through that stage, and I know a lot of people because I worked with corporate, also before, and a lot of women. Some of them, they never get married, they keep single. Some of them, maybe they got divorced, with some reason in their life, they stay single, but in deep down, career is one part. Deep down, they had some kind of parts missing, seeking for love, whatever, but it's not really balanced. They have high achievements, but maybe not that, fulfilled inside or happy, especially the feminine side. So how can you help this group of people? How do you, help them to balance there? That's very hard, I think.
Well, I think it's, first of all, I don't believe in balance. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't. The visual that I use for myself is a scale or a seesaw, where some days you're a little like this, and some days you're a little like this. And when you get much more out of balance, um, the thing is to pay attention to the thing that's not as much in use. So some days look like you're really busy being busy, and other days look like you're replenishing yourself. The Friday after the week last week, I purposely didn't schedule anything so I could rest. And then I wondered why I wasn't busy. So I think the rhythm and the adrenaline that we get in when we're busy being busy is a different energy. It's a masculine energy, if I could use that term, where we're executing and we're driving towards results and we're accomplishing. All of that is masculine energy and really required in order to get anything done, right? Um, and it's also really important to rest, refill yourself, to quiet ourselves down, to listen to your inner voice, to hear what the universe has in store for us, which we cannot hear when we're busy being busy, because our mind is activated. And the feminine way is to quiet the mind, as you know, and to source from inside. So I like to say, execute from your head, and before that, source from your heart. So how do you know what to execute? You have to be informed by your inner voice, which brings in, what's most important to you, your values, what you hold as priorities in your life. All of that is part of that inner guidance piece. So the model of leadership that I use with many of my clients and my speaking engagements and my workshops and programs is, if you look at leadership from a simple umbrella, where two sides of the umbrella, one side is what you do, that's the masculine side, right? What you're accomplishing, what your goals and objectives are, all that. And then the who you be as you do it, right? So it's the who are you as you do the work that you do, whatever your work is. And so when I'm coaching, we're talking about both sides. We're talking about what you're executing. And it reminds me of what my mother used to say as I was a child. It's not so much what you said. No, it's not so much, wait, let me think about this. It's not so much what you said, it's how you said it. It's not so much what you did, but how you did it. So both pieces of this are really important for us to look at and be introspective about it.
Yeah, I like your saying, about seesaw, because it's so true, no matter how well balanced a person is, life would never be, like a balance every moment. Sometimes, just like you said, the both ends, up and down, you just, to manage to observe and realize. And I also, love your part, saying the parts execution, use your head part, and then, sourcing, get the source, from the heart part. Then, it's all, also, related to the saying we said, the balance, And this really, I mean, also, I think will inspire, a lot of people, because I heard a lot of, women mentioned, they don't feel good about their leadership side, their strong personality. It's like, oh, maybe I'm too strong, and they want to hold it there. This actually, to me, my experience, I bet, I will invite you to talk more there. It's like not to respect, their authenticity, their integrity, no integrity of their life. Because, they had some power inside, but this is not winning over others, the power of being dumb. But they don't, they're scared, they're afraid. They don't bring it out. So I know you have the belief that you can be anything. Boldness has magic in it, right? Believe in yourself and be bold. So can you tell more there? What's the magic in it, to be boldness there?
Well, it's a perfect opportunity to show my book, Your Next Bold Move for Women, 9 Proven Steps to Everything You've Ever Wanted. And my first recommendation is go get the book, right? Because it's a wonderful resource in terms, it's a workbook. If you get the soft copy version versus the Kindle version, you can write in it. It has exercises, and it's a wonderful resource to get yourself moving through the steps, whether you're a man or a woman. I teach a workshop once a year in Massachusetts called Vision to Success that's open to anybody. And we use the 9 steps for people working on a professional bold move. And the steps work exactly the same for men as they do for women. So I think my experience with women when they tell the truth is that even though outwardly they might be strong or aggressive or assertive, inside they're not really sure of themselves. So their confidence level is not that high, in spite of their external way of being in the world. And so I find this actually as a theme for all of us, not just women. But if we're talking about women for a minute, the magic in it is learning to access who you really are in the world. Learning how to put, man or woman, learning how to put a mirror in front of your face so that you cannot help but see yourself like the world sees you. Mostly, what I would say is that everybody sees, I'll use myself as an example, everybody sees me in a certain way except for me. It's like I'm the only one who doesn't know that I'm qualified, experienced, whatever the list of adjectives are, right? I'm the one who questions, am I pretty enough? Am I young enough? Am I old enough? Do I have enough experience? Have I worked in this industry before? Have I spoken in front of 200 people? Maybe I can't do it, right? So we have to develop, we have to see ourselves and own our gifts and talents in ways that we have not, and to use them in ways that we have not. And to be aligned is one way to say it, become one with who we really are, inside and out. And I think that what happens from there is magical.
Yes, wow. It's really so true. I mean, that's why, a lot of, experts, I talked to this time, for this summit, they all mention, the journey is really to discover, finally go to the root, the foundation, who you are. Because we have so much stuff, covering on us by the society standards, whatever. So finally we lost, it's like who we it's a real us. That's, so big reminding there. And so from your work, I also like to ask, what, are your, a best approach to get us out of our fear? Because the boldness is at one side. Must be, the other side, big fear. I guess you mentioned already, even you, doing this, or everybody has this
That's
part
right.
of fear. So how you can help us, to get out from that status, especially when we will experience some change or bold move,
Right. So anytime we're making a change in our life, I think our knees get a little shaky. We're a little unsure of ourselves. And in fact, that's a sign for each of us that we're growing in some way, because it makes us a little uncertain. If we were certain about everything, we would not be changing and growing. And do I want to be exactly the same like I am in this very moment for the rest of my life? No way. I have lots of dreams in front of me that I'm just waiting to manifest. So a vision board, I suggest, is a really good idea for that, where you take all your dreams and you cut out pictures and words, and maybe you draw some and you put it as a collage on a big board. I have one in my office that I look at every single day, that I just did a month ago, that has all of my dreams on it. And one of them came true this past week. So there's hope for the rest of them, which is really exciting. So what I believe is that, number one, your knees should be a little shaky. You should feel a little uncertain. That's how you know you're on the right track. Number two, I believe we shouldn't scare the pants off ourselves. So to do that, take a baby step. Don't take a big leap. Just take a little step, because that won't scare your amygdala in your brain that wants to fight or flee, right? So if you don't trigger it, your brain says, oh, this is pretty good. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. One little step at a time. And before you know it, you've actually made a bold move. And in fact, sometimes a baby step is a bold move. So here's an example. So years ago, I was running a workshop, and we were talking about our dreams. And there were 25 people in the circle, and everybody was taking their turn going around the circle and saying what dream they had that they had not yet accomplished. So everybody says their dreams. It's very moving and inspiring. Some people are crying and choked up. It's really great. And they're finished, and it's my turn to facilitate what comes next. And somebody says to me, well, wait a minute. What's your dream, Wendy? And I said, and I hadn't thought about it. I wasn't prepared. I didn't really have anything that came to mind fast. So I said, thank you so much for asking, but when I facilitate, I don't usually participate. So I'll give it some thought, because I don't know, and I'll tell you after break. And the woman said to me, I imagine you would not let us get away with that. I thought, well, that's probably true. So she said, how about coming up with something now? So what I blurted out without thinking, which is always like the best thing to do, is to get your mind out of the game. I blurted out, I've always wanted to be on television. And then I thought, that's not true. I never thought that. Why did I say that? What possessed me to say that out loud? Oh my gosh, now 25 people know. Maybe they'll forget. So I decided not to say any of that. I thought all that in my head and thought, oh my gosh, what a loser. Why would I say that? So during break, another participant came up to me and said, well, in case you're serious about that TV thing, I'm being interviewed on someone's cable television show next week, and I'd be happy to have you sit and watch so you can see what it's like. And here's what I thought, Jenny. I thought, wow, that is such a baby step. I could definitely do that and not be afraid. So I did. I went and I sat and I watched two people, one person interviewing the guest and all the lights and the camera thing, and it was cable and it was very low key. And I sat there and I thought, I could do this. That looks easy.
Wow.
So, and then I talked to the executive producer afterwards. So here's another baby step. And I said, what do you have to do to have a show on cable television? He said to me, honey, you could paint your nails on our cable show and talk about it, and we would tape you, film you, watching them dry. It doesn't matter to us at all what you do. And I thought, that is excellent. The bar is so low here, I can't fail. So I started a television show, and 3 years later, I had the show was in 2.5 million households around the world. From blurting and taking one baby step at a time that didn't scare me. So that's my recommendation.
Awesome. Really, it's so true. I mean, sometimes at this moment, those intuition from the mind, it's really the truth about ourselves. But like you said, even you, when you spoke it out, you were scared. It's like, everybody knew, they see me, see the truth, But then these baby steps really, move you. It's a bold move. I am highly, convinced it's so true. So you just honor yourself as who you are and how you feel. Just take a baby step, be yourself. That's awesome recommendation. Thank you for that. And I also know, these amazing experts, almost every of them, I'm so impressed, like you. Do all this work, your own firm, your retreat, help, individual side, woman, man, and in the same time, you manage to live with your family. And I also know you have time doing the sports, skiing, whatever. So how do you achieve this productivity? Maybe some people sitting there watching their stuff, oh, I really envy those amazing people, but they are born like that. It's done. I am just not that lucky. I don't have that talent, energy. So if you are having these kind of, group, your clients saying this to you, how do you, reply to their questions?
Well, nobody is supposed to be like me. They're supposed to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal isn't to be like somebody else. The only goal is to be ourselves, because everyone else is taken. There's a quote, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And so what I know from my work in this area is that when we hear somebody else's story or see somebody being a certain way, and we feel jealous or something in us gets triggered and we feel like we want to be something about them we want. It's actually a sign. This jealousy is a sign that there's something in there for us that we want. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, my coach was speaking at a conference or something, some sort of meeting, where there were quite a few people in the room, maybe like 100 or 150. And I was so happy to be in the audience because I love her, and I was jealous at the same time. And afterwards I thought, okay, so what is it about that made me jealous? And what I came to for myself the answer I came to was, well, I want to be speaking in front of that many people. Okay, well, what do I need to do in order to develop myself to get there, if that's really what I want? So it's all signs.
Yeah, that's very good perspective, to think about that, not that many people, talk from this angle. Thank you for that. It's really, so when I listen to you, I really feel, it's all about, how you increase yourself, develop yourself to go deeper, really find more and more who you are and bring out all the potentiality, whatever you have there deep down. So bring out all of them, and then, use all the resource, energy, to do whatever, you are meant to do.
Yeah. So I have a lot of resources that I want to tell your viewers about that are free. So on wendycapland.com, CAPLAND.com, there is, well, now I guess we're getting into the free gift thing.
Yeah, free gift. Yeah, before you go on, can I just tell them where to get? Yeah. Wendy has free gift to give away today for this interview. Go to www.wendycapland.com/top, right?
No, just wendycapland.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then you get the free gift. So go ahead, Wendy.
Okay, sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. So on wendycapland.com, what we're giving away is a complimentary chapter of the book, so people can get started with their journey to joyfulness and their bold moves. And in addition, I'm offering a complimentary once a week notes of inspiration. So it comes into your mailbox. It's very short. It's an inspiring, if you liked what we talked about today, it's a deeper look, just every day, something to remind you and inspire you into your own greatness and to your own journey and where you're meant to go next. So all of that is free for people. And I have one other thing that I don't think I mentioned to you before, Jenny, that I'd like to offer now, which is on my corporate website. I have a complimentary monthly leadership newsletter that's really powerful to help people build their leadership skills no matter what their role is, no matter what their job is. And that can be found on visionquestconsulting.com.
Okay, www.visionquestconsulting.com.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, please, because I know, our audience sitting here today watching, many of them, they are also going through their career transition period. Or, of course, career transition is also related to your life transition because it's overall life positioning. So you definitely can get some, good resource information, tips, advice, from those good materials. So just take the advantage, take the chance to go ahead. And before I let you go, Wendy, can you just, during last minutes, share with us a bit of your daily practice? It's like what you do to help yourself, holding yourself, up there at this vibrational level. Or even as human, we always have moments, stay away a bit, maybe down a bit, has some doubts or self-confidence level is not that strong. What do you do as a daily practice for yourself to keep your productivity, mood, everything?
I do a lot, actually, which surprises me. In fact, it's been a lifelong journey of figuring out what I need to do. So every morning I meditate, and I do that for 20 minutes. And at the moment, I'm doing that with Oprah and Deepak Chopra. They have a free 21-day thing that I'll do for 21 days, and then I'll purchase it afterwards. So I start with meditation, and I do that with my husband. So we stay in bed together, and we cuddle and meditate together. So energetically, it feels yummy to me and quite, starts my day. And then we get up pretty early in the morning, and then we go to the gym together and work out for an hour. So it's the meditation piece for the spirit and soul, and then the body piece. One of my next bold move steps is prepare yourself for the game, body, mind, and spirit. So we then get a chance to work on our bodies. And then to keep me sane during the day, because I'm one of those people who execute a lot. And so I have my vision board in my office to remind me. I have my goals and purpose in life right over my desk that I can see in every given moment. I have behind me, which you can sort of see the piece of paper, the games that I'm up for playing lately that are related and aligned with my values and my purpose. And I take breaks for lunch and breaks for snack where not on my computer, I'm not on my phone, and I'm looking outdoors or just having a moment to rest my brain. So those are the things I try that I have as part of my daily practices. And thank you for asking.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. It's really, I heard again and again, and including myself, I really think the morning moments, it's just so important. It just settle your tune for the day. And to listen to you also, it's kind of, your intention, your clarity of your purpose, of your passion, your goal. This way, it's like you set up your energy, really, you know where to go. And then you will get there. If you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know where you are, then you will be just going nowhere. So that's really, very, very, practical but inspiring tips. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So again, time is not enough for every expert, but we have to let you go. And thank you also everybody in front of the screen today watching this. Give yourself permission, to look a little bit deeper inside of you. Thank you, and hope that helps and inspires a bit. And we will let you go, say bye until next day. And also thank you so much, Wendy. I'm so honored again for having you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jenny. Bye-bye.
Yeah.